Okay, so uh, our experimental design also enables us to control for the income effect of the wage increase. We can identify the pure substitution effect for the participating messengers. We announced the experiment in the last week of the August 2000, and all additional learnings from the experiment, regardless of whether subjects were members of Group A or Group B, were paid out after the end of the second experimental period in December 2000. Thus, the budget constraint for the both groups of participating messengers were affected in the same way. Due to the randomization of the participant messengers into groups A and B, the income effect cancels out if they identify the treatment effect by comparing the labor supply of the control and treatment groups. As demand for delivery services varies from day to day and from month to month, it is useful to control for time effects. The available information about flash enables us to identify possible time effects across treatment periods because both availability and flash operate in the same market. There is a strong correlation between the total daily revenues at availability and flash. When we compute the role correlation between two revenues at two themes over the two experimental periods plus the 4 weeks prior to the experiment, we find a correlation of 0.56, even after removing daily effects from both series. The correlation is still 0.46. This shows that revenues at the two themes are highly correlated even over such a short time horizon. We believe that our experiment represents a useful innovation to the existing literature for the several reasons. First, it implements a fully anticipated temporary and exogenous variation in the output-based wage rates of the messengers, which is the key for studying the intertemporal substitution of labor. The experimental wage increase was large and provides a clear incentive for increasing labor supply. Moreover, the participating messengers are experienced and daily fluctuations in their earnings are common. Hence, we experimentally implement a wage change in otherwise familiar environment. Second, the data we obtain from availability allows us to study two dimensions of labor supply. Hours are measured by the number of shifts and therefore are measured by the revenues generated per shift or the number of deliveries per shift. No other study that we are aware of can look at these two dimensions simultaneously. Third, we can combine the dataset with the full records from a second messenger service operating in the same market. This will prove useful for investigating an effect that experiment might have had on the non-participating messengers at availability and helps to control for demand variations of time. In this subsection, we drive predictions about labor supply behavior in our experiment. We have used two types of models: neoclassical models and model of reference dependent utility with loss-averse workers. In view of our results, we are particularly interested in the question of which kind of model is capable of predicting an increase of shifts, hours worked, and an increase of an effort per shift. In this subsection, we integrate the institutional setting at our messenger service into canonical model of intertemporal utility maximization with time-separable utility. We define the relevant time period to be 1 day. Consider an individual who maximizes lifetime utility, where delta was denotes the discount factor the utility represents the one period utility function ct. No, so okay, blah blah blah. In this appendix available online, we show that along the optimal path with the within period decisions of the rational individual maximizing time separable conserved utility function like subject, the constraint can be equally represented in terms of the maximization of a static one period utility function that is linear in workers who choose effort according to respond to an anticipated temporal increase in WT with a higher effort ET. A rise in WT increases the marginal utility returns of effort lambda WT, which increases the effort level ability with with a star that maximizes nu.